In the pulsing heart of Rhyme City, where the lifeblood of every soul is steeped in coffee, a shadow falls. Overnight, the city's veins run dry. Every bean, every drop of coffee disappears, plunging the city into turmoil. Amidst the brewing despair, one spark of hope ignites. Detective Pikachu, a connoisseur of caffeine and mystery, steps into the fray. With the city's heartbeat fading, can this electric sleuth unravel the tangled web of secrets before Rhyme City's spirit is crushed? Dive into a whirlwind of intrigue and aroma with Detective Pikachu as he races against time in the gripping tale of the vanishing brew. Chapter 1. The Mysterious Disappearance. In the heart of Rhyme City, where the sun cast its first golden hues upon cobblestone streets, a peculiar silence pervaded the morning air. This was a city that thrived on its morning rituals, a symphony of clinking cups, and the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloping every corner. Yet, on this particular morning, the usual vibrancy was replaced by a palpable sense of disarray. At the center of this unusual calm was Detective Pikachu, perched on a stool at his favorite cafe. Espresso, with a magnifying glass in one paw and the last remaining coffee bean in the city in the other. He was an anomaly among his kind, not just for his detective cap and a penchant for caffeine, but for his unmatched wit and determination to solve the mysteries that baffled many. As Detective Pikachu rolled the lone coffee bean between his fingers, his keen eyes surveyed the empty cafe. The bewildered faces of the city's residents, deprived of their morning elixir, peered through the glass, their expressions a mix of confusion and desperation. Something's afoot, and it isn't just the lack of espresso, Pikachu mused, his voice a mix of concern and curiosity. A city without coffee is like a detective without clues. Unthinkable. The cafe owner, a stout man with a mustache as thick as a caterpie, approached Pikachu with a weary sigh. "Detective, you're our only hope. This morning we discovered all our coffee supplies gone, vanished without a trace. It's as if they sprouted legs and walked off." Detective Pikachu hopped off his stool, his detective cap slightly askew as he adjusted it with a determined flick. "Fear not, my good man. Detective Pikachu is on the case. A mystery like this is just my cup of tea, or coffee in this instance." The first clue came in the form of peculiar paw prints, barely visible against the cafe's wooden floor. Pikachu, with magnifying glass in hand, followed the trail, which led him out into the bustling streets of Rhyme City. The paw prints were unlike any he had seen before, small and sharp, with a distinctive pattern that hinted at the thief's identity. As Pikachu ventured deeper into the city, the mystery began to unravel. The paw prints intermittently dotted the sidewalks, leading him past familiar storefronts and into the less trodden alleys of Rhyme City. It was here, in the shadows of the city, that Pikachu encountered his first witness, a nervous Pidgey, pecking at the ground for crumbs. "Pidgey, have you seen anything unusual this morning? Perhaps a creature carrying a large amount of coffee?" Pikachu inquired, his voice gentle yet firm. The Pidgey fluttered its wings, casting a wary glance down the alley. Yes. A shadowy figure, swift and silent, darted past at dawn. It carried sacks that smelled of coffee, heading towards the old warehouse district. A smile tugged at the corners of Pikachu's mouth. "Excellent, my feathered friend. It seems we have our first lead." With a nod of thanks to the Pidgey, Detective Pikachu set off towards the warehouse district, his heart racing with anticipation. The mystery of the vanishing brew had only just begun, and Detective Pikachu was determined to uncover the truth. Little did he know, the adventure ahead would be one of his most challenging yet. As the chapter closes, Detective Pikachu stands at the edge of the warehouse district, the early morning sun casting long shadows across his path. The game was afoot, and in his heart, Pikachu knew that the key to solving this mystery lay just beyond those old, creaking doors. Chapter 2. Clues and Suspects. The warehouse district of Rhyme City was a labyrinth of forgotten structures, where the past and present melded into a canvas of urban decay. Here, among the relics of industry, lay secrets waiting to be uncovered. As Detective Pikachu stepped into this world of shadows, the scent of mystery was as palpable as the aroma of coffee that once filled the city's air. The first rays of sunlight pierced through the cracks of the dilapidated buildings, casting a kaleidoscope of light that seemed to guide Pikachu towards his destination. The trail of paw prints led to an old warehouse, its door slightly ajar, as if inviting the detective to uncover its secrets. With a cautious step, Pikachu entered the warehouse, his eyes adjusting to the dim light. Inside, the remnants of what seemed to be a makeshift laboratory were scattered around, a collection of beakers, filters, and grinders all dusted with coffee grounds. The plot thickened as Pikachu pondered the purpose of such a setup. It appears our thief is not just a collector, but a connoisseur, Pikachu mused, his detective instincts tingling. The attention to detail and the care taken in setting up this coffee lab suggested a passion for the brew, a clue that narrowed the list of suspects. Amidst the coffee apparatus, Pikachu found a notebook, its pages filled with scribbles, formulas, and notes on coffee blends. A particular page was bookmarked, highlighting a blend described as the ultimate brew. Pikachu's ears perked up as he read the notes. The handwriting was meticulous, a contrast to the chaos of the warehouse. This was no ordinary thief. This was someone in pursuit of perfection. As Pikachu delved deeper into the notebook, a faint sound caught his attention, a rustle, then a soft, mocking laugh. "Looking for something, detective?" Turning swiftly, Pikachu came face to face with a Meowth, perched atop a stack of coffee sacks. The Meowth's grin was wide, its eyes gleaming with amusement. "Perhaps I am," Pikachu replied, his tone even. "And perhaps you can help me. Have you seen a Sneasel around these parts?" The Meowth's smile widened. "Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. What's in it for me?" Detective Pikachu pondered for a moment, then reached into his detective cap, pulling out a small, shiny object, a coin glinting in the dim light. "This for your troubles," Pikachu offered, tossing the coin towards Meowth, who caught it with a swift swipe of its paw. "All right, detective. The Sneasel you're looking for passed through here not long ago. It's been hoarding coffee all over the district, but it's not working alone. There's a whole crew involved, each with their own role." Pikachu's interest was piqued. "A crew, you say? And their plan?" Meowth leaned closer, lowering its voice. "They're aiming to create the perfect coffee blend, something that's never been tasted before, but their intentions, well, that's a mystery even to me." Thanking Meowth for the information, Pikachu stepped out of the warehouse, his mind racing with possibilities. The plot was more complex than he had initially thought, involving not just a Sneasel but an entire team, each motivated by the pursuit of a legendary coffee blend. As Pikachu set off to follow the new leads, the city of Rhyme slowly awakened, unaware of the detective's silent strides through its heart. The mystery of the vanishing coffee was unfolding, with each clue leading Detective Pikachu closer to the elusive brew and its guardians. The chapter closes with Pikachu standing atop a building overlooking the awakening city, his silhouette etched against the rising sun. The adventure was far from over, and somewhere in the maze of Rhyme City, the key to the mystery awaited. Chapter 3. The Chase. As the city of Rhyme stretched and yawned into the daylight, its streets began to pulse with the rhythm of the day. Detective Pikachu, however, was already deep into the heart of the mystery, his mind a whirlwind of clues, suspects, and the elusive promise of an unparalleled coffee blend. The information gleaned from Meowth had set him on a new trail, one that led through the city's veins and into its hidden corners. The first stop on this unconventional journey was an upscale part of town, known for its high-end boutiques and exclusive restaurants. Here, nestled between a patisserie and a boutique, was the Aromatic Leaf, a tea house that, according to Meowth, served as a front for the coffee thieves' meetings. Pikachu, with his cap pulled low to blend in with the crowd, watched from across the street, his sharp eyes scanning for any sign of the culprits. It wasn't long before a figure slinked into view, a silhouette unmistakable in its sleekness, a Sneasel. It glanced around with a cautious air before disappearing into the tea house. Pikachu waited for a moment, counting the beats of his heart, then followed. Inside the Aromatic Leaf, Pikachu found himself enveloped in an ambiance of tranquility, the scent of various teas mingled in the air, a stark contrast to the adrenaline that fueled his mission. He spotted Sneasel sitting at a corner table, engaged in a hushed conversation with a delibird and a cacturn. Pikachu edged closer, pretending to peruse a menu while eavesdropping on their exchange. "The blend is almost perfected," Sneasel was saying, its voice a sibilant whisper. "We just need the final component, and for that, we'll need to raid the vault at Beanstalk's Brews, the only place in Rhyme City that stores the rare Kopi Luwak beans." Delibird nodded, its beak twitching. "The heist needs to be clean. We can't afford any more attention." Cacturn, silent until now, finally spoke. "What about the detective on our trail? The one they call Pikachu?" Sneasel's eyes glinted. "Leave Pikachu to me. I have a plan that will keep him busy." Pikachu, realizing the gravity of the situation, knew he had to act fast. The theft of the Kopi Luwak beans would not only deprive the city of its last coffee reserve, but also enable the culprits to create their legendary blend, perhaps with intentions more sinister than mere culinary achievement. As the trio left the tea house, Pikachu followed at a discreet distance, his mind racing with strategies. He needed backup, and he knew just who to call. A short while later, Pikachu rendezvoused with a group of trusted allies, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Together, they formed a plan to thwart the heist and apprehend the coffee thieves. The night was dark, a veil that cloaked their movements as they positioned themselves around Beanstalk's Brews, each Pokemon ready to play their part. Pikachu, with his electric agility, would confront Sneasel. Bulbasaur's vines would secure the perimeter, Charmander's flames would provide a distraction if needed, and Squirtle would be ready with a water cannon to douse any opposition. As the clock struck midnight, Sneasel and its cohorts made their move, slipping into the shadows towards Beanstalk's Brews. Pikachu signaled to his friends, and together they sprang into action. What followed was a ballet of light, shadow, and elements. Pikachu darted forward, confronting Sneasel head-on with a crackling thunderbolt, illuminating the night with sparks of electric fury. Sneasel, quick and cunning, dodged and retaliated with icy swipes, but Pikachu's determination was as unyielding as the earth itself. Meanwhile, Bulbasaur's vines entangled Delibird and Cacturne, pulling them back with relentless strength. Charmander's flames danced in the air, creating a barrier that cut off any escape, while Squirtle's water cannon erupted, dousing the flames around the vault, ensuring the safety of the precious beans. The chase was intense, a whirlwind of energy and strategy. But as dawn's first light began to crest the horizon, the tide turned. Weakened and outnumbered, Sneasel and its team found themselves encircled, their plan thwarted by the unity and courage of Pikachu and his friends. Panting, with the adrenaline of the chase still coursing through him, Pikachu stood before Sneasel, an offer of understanding in his eyes. "There's a better way to achieve greatness," he said, his voice firm yet compassionate. "Not through theft and deceit, but through honesty and hard work. Let us help you." As Chapter 3 closes, the city of Rhyme remains unaware of the night's events. But in the heart of its silent streets, a bond was formed, a promise of redemption and the hope of a new beginning. The mystery of the vanishing coffee was closer to being solved, but the journey of understanding had just begun. Chapter 4, Resolution and Revelations. As the first light of dawn painted the skyline of Rhyme City in hues of gold and amber, a sense of calm settled over its streets. The adventurous night had given way to a morning of reflection and newfound alliances. At the heart of this transformation was Detective Pikachu, whose unwavering dedication had not only thwarted a heist, but had also woven threads of understanding and camaraderie among unlikely companions. The warehouse district, once a stage for the night's clandestine activities, now served as a backdrop for a pivotal gathering. Inside the very warehouse where the mystery had deepened, Detective Pikachu, Sneasel, and their band of erstwhile adversaries stood amidst the remnants of the coffee lab, the air thick with anticipation. Pikachu, addressing the assembly, spoke of unity, forgiveness, and the pursuit of dreams through righteous paths. "Every one of us has a passion," he began, his voice resonant in the quiet of the warehouse. For Sneasel and its friends, it was the quest for the ultimate coffee blend, a noble pursuit, misguided by the shadows of secrecy and theft. But today, we turn a new leaf. Sneasel, its gaze lowered, nodded in agreement. The events of the night had opened its eyes to the folly of its ways. I was blinded by my ambition, Sneasel admitted, its voice a mere whisper. But Detective Pikachu showed me that true greatness is achieved not by standing on others, but by standing with them. The atmosphere in the warehouse was electric, charged with the promise of new beginnings. Pikachu, seizing the moment, proposed a plan that would not only redeem Sneasel and its crew, but would also restore the joy of coffee to Rhyme City. "We will host a coffee festival," Pikachu announced, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "A celebration of our city's love for coffee, where Sneasel and its team will have the chance to showcase their blend made through honest means and hard work. It will be a testament to what we can achieve when we choose to work together." The proposal was met with enthusiastic agreement. The days that followed were a blur of activity. Pokemon and humans alike came together, transforming the warehouse district into a vibrant festival ground. Stalls were erected, each offering a taste of Rhyme City's diverse coffee culture. At the heart of it all was Sneasel's booth, where the once elusive blend was now brewed for all to enjoy, its rich aroma a symbol of redemption. The festival was a resounding success. Citizens of Rhyme City flocked to the district, their spirits lifted by the communal joy of sharing a cup of coffee. Laughter and conversation filled the air, bridging hearts and healing the rifts that had once threatened to divide them. As the sun set on the day of the festival, Detective Pikachu stood atop a makeshift stage. The crowd gathered before him in a sea of smiling faces. Beside him were Sneasel, Delibird, Cacturn, and his faithful allies, their presence a testament to the power of unity and second chances. "Today we celebrated more than just coffee," Pikachu addressed the crowd, his voice carrying over the assembled throng. "We celebrated the strength of our community, the courage to change, and the bonds that we've forged. Let this festival be a reminder of what we can accomplish when we stand together." The applause that followed was deafening, a chorus of approval and agreement that echoed through the streets of Rhyme City. As the crowd dispersed, leaving behind a sense of warmth and togetherness, Pikachu and his friends remained, basking in the glow of their achievement. The mystery of the vanishing coffee had been solved, not just through detective work, but through understanding, empathy, and the willingness to extend a hand in friendship. Rhyme City had awakened to a new day, where coffee flowed once more, and its citizens stood united, their bonds strengthened by the shared love for a simple cup of brew. As the final chapter closes, Detective Pikachu, with a satisfied smile, takes a sip of the now notorious blend, its taste a sweet reminder of the adventure, the lessons learned, and the friendships formed. In the heart of Rhyme City, peace and coffee reigned, all thanks to a detective who believed in the power of unity and the redeeming strength of a good cup of coffee.